Rights is a hot topic.
It's a big issue.
What rights should they have? How do they compare to humans? You know, it's a well-known fact that we test on animals with the assumption that humans are more important. We test drugs on animals, and we're basically saying if they die, they die. We'll learn something from them. People do make distinctions between animals, right? They know that it's probably more acceptable to kill an ant than
Hunt a cow.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I think that comes again from how close are they to humans? Have they got a face?
But that's
are they furry?
I told you, didn't I, about me dad's mate who had a monkey and he had to thump it.
What? Well, there's two things there. One, why did he have a monkey? Two, what sort of discipline is thumping a monkey? What was the monkey doing?
He was annoying his wife a lot and sort of, you know, pinching her arse and stuff like that.
Right,
No,
right,
that's
wait
not
a minute,
true.
we've
It's not
never heard
true.
this before. How have we had all these years
No,
of
I'm sure
monkeys
I
and
told
we've
you
never
about
heard this
it ages
before?
ago.
Your dad had a mate who had a monkey?
Yeah, I'm sure I told you.
Why did he have a monkey? Just for a laugh?
Well, it was back in the day when people they all had like odd sort of pets and that, didn't they? In like about 68.
Oh,
In
1968, when everyone had a monkey.
But he had to thump it. Now the weird thing is,
No, that's weird enough.
Is this all the story? This is the entire story?
No.
You've got, all the information you've got is he had a monkey and he had to thump it?
yeah, my dad told me about it. When he found out that I was into monkeys, he said, "Oh, Benny thumped one." And
Benny thumped one. Oh, my son's into natural history, particularly simian variety. I've got an interesting fact for you, Carl. Sit down. What is it, Peter? Benny thumped one. Brilliant.
But what was interesting is the way that people are thumping other people all the time. No one bats an eyelid. Thump a monkey. People go, "You thumped a monkey."
Yes, they do. They do go. You thumped a monkey.
So that's what's weird, isn't it?
But this chimp doesn't want to be caged and kept in a fucking council house in
No,
Manchester.
it was quite happy. And if
It
he wants to
wasn't
live like a
happy.
human, I mean, in the 70s, you know, there were all the teabag adverts and all that, and they were loving that.
No, they
Then
weren't
people
loving it.
interfere, people go, "That's unfair." Now they're in like a cage in a zoo. You go, "It was better when I was pushing a piano up a stairs."
They weren't really.
They weren't actual delivery men.
They weren't really sitting down and having a cup of tea.
It wasn't a documentary. A week in the life of the monkey delivery men.
I love that. Chimps in a zoo now going, "Fucking hell, at least we were free."
Remember when we used to drive a van?
And we're on 58 quid a week.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be kept in a house in Manchester. It's cruel to keep a person in a house in Manchester, so it's fucking cruel to keep a monkey.
Rick, I know you're a big fan of Professor Richard Dawkins, the evolutionary biologist. He wrote a book, The Ancestor's Tale, in which he predicted a post-human world. This was his kind of hypothesis, if we were well, let me read what he's written. If nuclear war destroys humanity and most of the rest of life, a good bet for survival in the short term and for evolutionary ancestry in the long term is rats. I have a post-Armageddon vision. We and all the other large animals are gone. Rodents emerge as the ultimate post-human scavengers. They gnaw their way through New York, London and Tokyo, digesting spilled larders, ghost supermarkets and human corpses, and turning them into new generations of rats and mice, whose racing populations explode out of the cities and into the countryside. When all the relics of human profligacy are eaten, populations crash again and the rodents turn on each other, and on the cockroaches scavenging with them. In a period of intense competition, short generations, perhaps with radioactivity-enhanced mutation rates, boost rapid evolution. With human ships and planes gone, islands become islands again, with local populations isolated, save for occasional lucky raftings. Ideal conditions for evolutionary divergence. Within 5 million years, a whole range of new species replace the ones we know. Herds of giant grazing rats are stalked by saber-toothed predatory rats. Given enough time, will a species of intelligent, cultivated rats emerge? Will rodent historians and scientists eventually organise careful archaeological digs and through the strata of our long compacted cities reconstruct the peculiar and temporally tragic circumstances that gave ratkind its big break?
Carl, thoughts?
I mean, who knows what's going to happen?
Muse, Plug-in Baby on XFM 104.9.
Rick,
Gervais, go on.
Well, yeah, but I know you guys are laughing about the height thing, and for those that have only just tuned in, I am 6'7" tall, which is tall, and that's big, and I pride myself on it in a way. You know, I've worked hard, I've not smoked, I ate well, you know.
Yeah.
It's an accomplishment, but obviously I didn't have much involvement in it. I just and it's a curse because mainly the problem is that you can't get stuff. You can't get clothes. You can't get shoes. You know?
Yeah. It's size 14 feet.
Yeah, but it is genuine, and I don't know. I mean, it costs a lot to buy a pair of size 14 shoes, and so I don't. I mean, if you were genuinely poor, I don't know how you'd afford to be tall because the clothing costs more, everything costs more.
I've seen this in comics that you'd actually go to school in a barrel.
Wearing a barrel.
With just braces, it'd just be a barrel and you'd have sort of flip-flops. And you'd take a mule with you. They all had a mule, didn't they, the poor people?
People always think you'll be in a pub or something, and people just think they can talk to you about it. They just think, hey, you lanky, it's just like, because it's like they
But that really annoys you, doesn't it?
Well, it annoys me because it's like they think I should be proud of it. Like,
well, exactly, but they don't think that this is not a disadvantage, this is not a disability, is it? You're taller than most people. It might get
a disability.
No, if you were 8'3", it'd be slightly debilitating. You would, but
disabilitating.
What?
Disabilitating? Yeah. No, you're a medical man, aren't you? Eh? But no, the point is, it's a disabilitating because when you go on public transport, like if you're on a coach.
Yeah.
The only place I can sit on a coach is that seat
on the driver's lap.
Either on the driver's lap or that seat at the very end.
Yeah.
You know which sits into the aisle.
Yeah.
That's the only place I can.
Well,
sit.
you stand up,
some sort of kids at the back waving at drivers.
You could drive it from the back.
Here he comes. Watch it.
Were you a tall baby? Or
Mr. and Mrs. Merchant, you've given birth to a basketball player. Look at his dribble already. Were you a tall baby? Babies aren't tall.
At what point did you suddenly, like, Jesus, nothing fits me?
Well, it didn't happen overnight, Carl.
Let's do a little graph. How tall were you at 5?
Oh, I don't know. 3 foot?
3 foot. How tall were you at 12?
6 foot.
6 foot? Are you really?
I don't know, do I? How do I remember? I don't remember this.
Well, when did teachers start calling you freak boy and lanky?
They didn't. It wasn't
Didn't they?
so much. It was no.
You went to a funny school. I went bowling with him once. I'd never been bowling before, and he'd been once before. And he went, "Let's go to this bowl." We went to a bowling alley, right? And you have to wear these special shoes. Now they're sort of like pointed things anyway, and they're multicoloured, sort of red and green. They look pretty weird. And the woman said to me, "Oh, what size?" I said, "Oh, 8." She went, "Yeah." "What size are you?" He went, 14. She went, 14. He went, "You probably haven't got them." She goes, "Yeah, I think we have got one pair." And she put them on the table, and it was like Krusty the Clown. And I just started laughing. They looked so long, and he had to run round this bowling alley in these freaky clown shoes.
But they don't look freaky clown like when I'm wearing them, because the rest of me is in proportion to it.
It looks like a little wall bracket.
One of the worst things that happened to me was when I was like, I don't know, when I was about 16 or something, we went to, There's a fire
alarm going off.
There's a fire alarm going off.
And the fire light's going off. Yeah. Should we not just
Should
maybe play a record and go and check that out?
Wrap it up if you want.
No, not wrap it up. Play a record. I'm gonna go.
No, the fire, it's gone off, Rick. It's gone off.
Oh, well, we might have burned down.
Yeah, I think we'd know about it. The flames licking around our ankles would be a clue.
God.
I'm gonna go and investigate. You shouldn't ignore a fire alarm, did you?
Blimey. We're entertaining the nation.
Oh, look at him. He's scared of fire. What do you mean? POD, or pod, as I call them. I don't.
No.
XFM 104.9. It's the Ricky Gervais Show.
With Steve Merchant?
Yeah. So Dermot O'Diddley...
Yes.
Through weeks and weeks in a row, he doesn't even turn up, and now suddenly he's all over breakfast.
I noticed, yeah, he's standing in for the breakfast show. Why weren't we asked to do that?
Well, we were.
Upsetting. Were we?
Yeah.
I didn't know about this.
Yeah, but I don't want to get up that early, do I?
Sure.
I feel a bit hungover today, actually.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's happening? What, you partying last night, were you?
Well, not partying, we just went out for a couple of drinks, then had a meal, and then went to the Borderline and saw about... I'll tell you about that, it's good.
You saw a band? That's the first time in years, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Yeah, because, do you know John Sim? The actor?
Not really.
He's in this band, right, called Magic Alex, and it was really good. They're sort of like a friendly Oasis. They got, it's quite mank sort of feel, but it's really good. Good songs and everything.
Is he the singer?
Yeah, no, he's the guitarist. Nice, cool. But it was full of actors because of that, and I felt quite tall.
That's ludicrous because you're a very short man.
Well, I am. I'm sort of. I was average, but now I'm not. I don't think 5'8". That's right. But there, I was like quite. It was like Lilliput. So I just got to hang out at actors do. Yeah.
This is the reason, because actors are often quite handsome people, but yet they're always quite obnoxious.
We are.
No, I mean, they're normally quite obnoxious, Rick. Again, you're a good example of that. And yet, I think it must be the small man complex. That's what makes them so obnoxious and so kind of desperate for attention. Didn't realise it before.
Steady on.
Because, of course, I tower above everyone.
You do, don't you?
I'm, for people who don't know, who are listening, I'm 6'7" tall. That's high.
Yeah.
That's big.
And for people who've never seen him, he doesn't hold it well. It's not like he's a sort of handsome athlete, is it, Carl? He's a bit of a, what do you call him?
Carl, don't answer.
No.
Don't get drawn into that. You know the game he's playing.
No. Do you know yesterday when you were in the office?
Yeah.
You did a little move, and it reminded me of Blakey.
I hate you, Gervais. I hate you, Pilkington.
That's our stance.
Yeah, but even he held it a little bit better, didn't he? Because he was a man, he had a big coat and everything, a peak cap. But, yeah.
I can't believe, I've not suffered enough from being freakishly tall. Now, two of my best buddies, live on radio, are just...
It's not just the height, though, is it? It's the posture and the face and everything.
But it's got you places, hasn't it?
No? What do you mean it's got me places?
I think people give you a bit more of a chance in your career and stuff, 'cause it's like...
What, yeah, stacking shelves? Because I can reach to a high level.
Think of computers.
What about them?
Well, I mean, that's in the last few years, in 100 years in our existence, okay, they've been dabbling with anything even close to a computer. Nothing before that.
Yeah, computers are a good thing, and it baffles me as to how they came about. When you think a computer chip is just made out of sand. Now, for someone to come up with that, you go, there must have been some sort of alien involved here.
What do you mean? Why do you think that? So I love it. So the frisbee, rubbish. Anything too clever, well, it wasn't an invention, it was an alien. So there's nothing between frisbee and computer chip.
What I'm saying is, it's not even an idea, is it?
What do you mean?
A computer chip, where's that come from?
Oh, it's amazing. Well, it's astounding, yeah.
So you think it was an alien? What are you talking about?
Great.
Because I can't believe that someone would go, right, I want to make something that will hold information and be able to do... I know, let's use some sand, we've got loads of that. You'd go, what, you don't...
Well, that's what genius is, though, isn't
Carl,
it?
there's no alien involved.
No, but when I say alien, I don't mean an alien came down here and said, oh, do you want to buy this? There could have been a spaceship crash, right?
Right, yeah.
And there's all them rumours, isn't there, in that hangar. They've got the spaceship, they take it apart, they go, yeah, wheels, we've got them, yeah, steering wheel, yeah. And then they go, hang on, what's this here? And they find the chips, and they break it down, and they find the sand.
But that as an explanation to human genius is nearly as ridiculous as the Adam and Eve explaining life on Earth. How could you tell that to someone without going red? I mean, I always worry about that, where people who believe in Adam and Eve, don't they wish there was a slightly better explanation? With all the evidence we've got, do you know what I mean? With all the evidence for evolution, that they think the Earth is 5,000 years old, and God made Adam out of some dust, and then he went, oh, I need a bird. It's alright, I'll make it out of your rib.
Yeah,
right?
But there's loads of things that you go, oh, this is a bit embarrassing. I bet Charles Darwin, when he said we've all come from apes, I bet he sat at home going... Should have told him about the frisbee first. But
the fact that sand makes computer chips is not the interesting thing. The interesting thing is how the human being discovered that, what am I talking about, sand makes computer chips, that silicon can have information put on it. But we're made out of oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, do you know what I mean? And hydrogen.
But that's nature. You see, nature is amazing. You can't beat nature. Right?
No.
It comes up with some amazing things.
Yeah, but man is nature. Don't forget that we're an animal. We're a brilliant ape. Now, it's clear to any sensible, reasonable, educated person that we did evolve from, apes, or rather, we had a common ancestry, and that we're closest to the chimpanzee. We're actually 98.6% genetically identical to a chimpanzee, Carl. We're closer to a chimp than a chimp is to a gorilla. Genetically speaking.
I just find that hard to believe when you
Well, I'm telling you it's true, so what are you finding hard to believe?
Well, your eyes, your own eyes are what sort of comes up with a lot of thoughts.
No, no. One's eyes don't come up with thoughts.
No,
Two,
but what I'm saying is...
What you mean is,
through your own eyes,
you look at things and make up your own decisions.
So if there was no Darwin or anything, and I was sat somewhere, and someone said, right, we're going to bring a few animals in, one of them's related.
Right. They're all related.
Alright, but they're all related to you, but one's not so long ago, right? And they brought them in, and they lined them up, and there was a chimp stood there,
Yeah.
and a gorilla,
Mm.
and what's another one?
Orangutan.
Right, yeah. Right, I go, the orangutan, send that out. I'll be first to go, so he's definitely not linked to me.
See, I disagree, but there we go. That's just looking at you.
Yeah.
So the hair colouring, there's none of that in our family.
Well, there's no hair.
Go.
I like the fact that it loses out because it's ginger.
So that's gone. Right, so I'm left with a gorilla and a chimp.
Yeah.
I would go for the gorilla.
Well, it's a good guess,
Humanness.
but you'd be wrong. So we are much closer to the chimpanzee, okay? 98.6% genetically identical. Think of that. We only differ on 1.4% of
Well,
our genetic
that
makeup.
must be the arse. Because that's a lot different.
Happy Monday. Took you back, didn't it? Happy Mondays there, Manxine there. Carl's like really getting down. Oh, yeah. Oh, come on.
Got
Come
any
on.
Veras?
Oh, come on, Mel.
Sweet.
Did it take you back, did it?
Yeah.
How old are you?
29.
29. So you were just going into, out of your teens.
I'm a Virgo.
No.
What?
No. No. You don't understand. It's just, I'm
Rick,
a
I
Virgo.
thought we discussed about involving Carl. in
Yeah,
any
sorry,
discussion.
yeah.
Management have told us we're just not allowed to do it.
We've had emails from
Yeah,
people.
please don't speak to Carl.
It's cruel.
Exactly.
On the cusp.
Can I just make an appeal? I don't want to...
On the cusp, Libra Virgo, he said. Still going through with it. Doesn't know what's going on, does he? Just wave bright objects at him.
Yeah.
We've got a competition this, Steve.
We have, but before we mention that,
Go on.
can I just ask something? I don't want to exploit our position on the radio.
No.
But I wonder, because I'm very tall, and it's very tricky for me to get size 14 shoes and big clothes and stuff, could I just get people to send some stuff if like, maybe they own a shop which
Yeah, but
sells big stuff?
it'd be things like homemade clogs
That's
that people
cool.
have carved out of chunks of wood they found
That's
in the
whatever.
shed.
Whatever.
It's not
When I
going
was
to
in
be great.
America, when I was in America, everyone says to me, you go to
It
America.
is cool. I made out of my own skin.
When I was in America, everyone told me like it would be really easy to get big clothes and big shoes and that because they're all huge and all freaks over there.
all right, steady on.
And I was wandering around New York, and I was going in a few shops, kind of saying, we've got size 14, US 15 shoes, and they were going, no, one shop
Is that the
literally-
difference?
Yeah,
One.
and they literally were laughing at me. There was a couple of shops where they literally laugh and get like someone else in and come and look at the tall, freaky Englishman.
Really?
And then one guy said, I remember we had someone come in here once, and he said he'd been to a shop which sold kind of stuff for really tall people, and he said, I think I can remember the address, and he sort of looked through the sort of telephone directory, and he made a note of it. And I went on the subway, and I went down all these
Lilliput.
things. And I went, it took me ages to get there, and really hard to find it. I finally went in there. I've never seen it. It was heaving, right, with freaks. It was
Really?
amazing. It was like, they were just kind of gargoyles. It was like something from Lord of the Rings. They were just kind of these tall people and kind of gnarled.
Did they turn around and start
grotesque
bowing to you?
It was incredible.
Yeah.
When I went in, I just said, hi, I'm looking for a kind of da-da-da-da sort of thing. Guy went, yeah, sure. And he sort of hobbled off into the darkness and came back with exactly the kind of pair of shoes I wanted. I couldn't believe my luck.
It might be a magic shop.
But it was like that shop in Mr. Ben.
It might have been a dream, though. You see? Have you still actually got the shoes?
No.
Because when Mr. Ben sort of like goes back and wakes up next day, he finds like a feather in his pocket where he remembers he was a 17th century sort of squire or something.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
The classic episode of Mr. Ben when he becomes a 17th century squire.
oh dear.
Mr. Ben learns to play the harpsichord.
But it's like when Mr. Ben, that black shopkeeper goes, right, are you going to pay for that? You're not just going to go
Yeah.
through that door and then have an adventure and come back. Oh, yeah, I am. No, you're not. You're barred.
Yeah.
You just make me sick. We wait nothing from you. Well, I'm not in this for your amusement, Mr. Ben.
Is it only Ben who's got the insider knowledge about the magical doorway, or
I
have we
don't
got other
know, because
customers?
that fella in the fez doesn't seem to have anyone else there.
No, rarely. He's always grinning though. He knows
Yeah.
something.
I'm not sure. It's not a documentary, though, is it? It's a kid's show, isn't it?
I'm trying to remember.
No, it's not. It's just a kid's show, so anything can happen.
Yeah.
That's a lot of people make that mistake
Sure.
when they slag off something like Scooby-Doo or
Oh.
Thundercats. It's not really
Not
reality.
actually real.
It's just a
Well,
kid's.
but Mr. Ben, they were all on drugs, weren't they? Like Magic Roundabout.
My mate fancied Cheetara from
I forget
Thundercats.
Cheetara. Which one was Cheetara? I quite like She-Woman.
She was a lovely
Yeah,
cat.
she was a real dish.
What's the sexiest cartoon?
I'm glad you've asked.
A lot of people say Jessica Rabbit.
They do, and they'd be right to say that, because she's actually human, she's not an animal, which is good.
What?
Isn't she? No, she's a normal woman married to a rabbit.
No,
yeah,
she's not.
Yeah, Jessica Rabbit.
Is that all she got a surname, Rabbit? But
Yeah,
she's not
'cause
actually
she's
a rabbit.
married Roger Rabbit, but she's not actually a rabbit. She's a glamorous woman.
Is she?
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
No, yeah. This is the weird thing about it.
That's weird though, isn't it?
It is weird, the idea of a rabbit having sex with a beautiful woman. That is the weirdest thing about it.
How does that make you feel?
Annoyed, if I'm honest. Yeah. But I bought some bunny ears just after I saw the film.
Oh, hip hop. You got your hip hop
Oh,
track.
yeah, good. No. This album was rated by a lot of people last year. My sources tell me that it's being re-released and re-recorded this year. Anyway, Nerd are the outfit. They're better known as the Neptunes, who are kind of sort of hip-hop R&B producers.
Yeah.
I think this track may have featured on a giveaway CD.
It did.
On the NME.
It did.
Anyway, it's dynamite. It's from the album In Search Of by Nerd, and it's Bobby James. Play it. Nerd from the album In Search Of, and that's Bobby James.
Brilliant.
It's great.
It's really bit. It reminds me a little bit of Warren G. That chorus.
Sure, yeah. And apparently the album, it was on kind of limited release, so it's quite tricky to get hold of, but as I say, I think they're re-releasing it.
Well, you should tape off the radio, because we're doing lots of features.
Yeah, no, I'll maybe play that again in the future, just tape it off. I'll tell you what, I'll play the whole album over the course of the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and we're just I mean, you know, we're going to have us talking, we just go now, and you can
we
press
can't
play and
actually
record.
say, we can't advocate you tape it off the radio, because that's breaking...
No, or maybe I'll just do some bootlegs of the, you know, the catalogue and just sell them Camden Market for £4.
Exactly, fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, we won't, I mean, we shouldn't really say that, but...
Warren G is, Dr. Dre's cousin, is he, or something? Is
Warren
that
G,
right?
I think, is his cousin, yeah.
But I know he's got a famous brother as well, and I think it's something like Nate Dogg.
It could well be Nate Dogg.
Maybe someone would know that and could email or phone in.
Yeah, or email maybe kind of family
This is the best thing about being on the radio. I can think of something. There was a competition, right, on Virgin, right? I was listening, Virgin, I think 105. No, what is it? I can't remember.
Yeah. Good station.
Good station. And they had a competition, right, and it was to win a trip to America on the Enterprise. It was all about space. And there was one question, answer 3 right, and it was who was the first one into space, Yuri Gagarin, who was doing and then the third question was, how much bigger than the moon is the sun? Is it twice as big or 4 times as big? And this one went 4 times as big, went correct. It's not. It's hundreds of times bigger.
A lot more big,
I can't believe, can someone look that up on the internet and how many times bigger is the sun than the moon? It's not 4 times. It's huge. It's like beach ball to a pea type dimensions.
Which DJ was it, do you remember, on Virgin?
I can't remember, but it was the one on sort of about 11 o'clock.
I
Wouldn't want to be about
now.
Yeah, he's embarrassed himself, hasn't
embarrassed
he?
himself.
When we do quizzes, we never get anything wrong.
That's true enough.
During that track, I'm chilling out, I'm loving it, aren't I? Carl goes, do you know how baguettes came about?
Do you know how baguettes come about?
I went, go on, and Steve went, no, save it.
Wait a minute though, I'm thinking, Rick, people are going to be desperate to know the answer to that. Why don't we play some ads and some music and stuff?
It's like a cliffhanger.
Exactly. How did baguettes come about?
Whatever he says is going to be good, isn't
Stay
it?
tuned to XFM to find out.
I saw this trailer for this documentary that said, the man who's having a baby. And I turned on, and it's a woman going through a sex change, and she's pregnant. That's not a man having a baby. That's a woman having a beard.
Having a breakdown.
Why is that? That's a con. That is pure sense. It's a man having a baby. Look, world's first. No, it's the woman. It's a woman. What do you think of that? What would you do for your doctor? And I came to you and went, Carl, listen, I'm having a bit of a rethink of these. The penis, I hate it. I hate this cock.
But what do you mean you hate it?
I hate it. I don't want it there. It doesn't look right. It doesn't look right. It just sits there resting on these fucking awful testicles that I'm going to get rid of. I want this thrown away.
Yeah, well, it's, they're not a great look. I know that. Everyone knows that. It's just the way they are. I mean, if we're all being honest, they're an odd design. I don't think anyone likes their own, do they? That's why we cover them. They're not a great thing, are they?
What? It's not why we cover them, though, is it?
It's part of it, I think. I think deep down, I mean, even if, like, I know you hate the Adam and Eve thing, but even if back then he was like, good God, cover them up. Even he had a leaf on.
No, but listen. So, are you thinking fundamentally, then, that aesthetically, the testicles and the penis isn't as good as it could be? What would you have there instead?
Well, it's designed that way because that's the way it's got to be designed. It's more about function than.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, isn't it? With modern technology,
You need, the thing is the testicles have to be outside because they have to be a few degrees below body temperature.
yeah.
Otherwise, the Sertoli cells die, which sort of feed the semen and all that. So, to be functioning and sort of like fertile, they have to be outside, which is annoying because I'd put a little rib cage around them, like that. I'd pop a rib cage round those, protect them, wear a cricket box, have that built in, so you cannot get a swift kick in the bollocks that makes you feel sick.
But it'd be better if they could sort of reverse up in a way that they were hidden away.
Right.
So that they were just, then you dropped them, it's like, right, we need to cool them down, be at it in about half an hour.
Yeah.
Zzz, drop them down.
Yeah, like the gear on an aeroplane, landing gear. Yeah, and landing gear down, and the bollocks and the cooling down. Or you could just pop them in the fridge for 10 minutes.
It's
Well,
like
they could detach and you could pop them in the fridge. Cool
Yeah.
down.
Can you make me some breasts?
Easy.
Okay. Go on, you say easy, what are you gonna do? What's your plan?
Just, how do you do that? It's tablets, isn't it?
No, but...
Testosterone, isn't it?
Testosterone? Toblerone. I want some Toblerone.
Well, sort of pointy tits. Like Madonna.
Where do you stop, though? Supposing I came to you and said, Doctor, listen, I like the bollocks, I like the penis, but I don't like them where they are. I want them in the middle of my chest. I want breasticles. Yeah? The arse, I don't like it round the back, I can't see what's going on. Pop that on the front where the bollocks were. I want my arse where I can look down and see what's going on. Can you do it?
I think it's just easier to move the head, isn't it?
The natural world is so diverse that we don't even know how many species there are. Conservatively, there's 2 million species of animals. I mean, without even taking in plant life, there are at least 2 million species of animal. With plants and animals, there could be up to 10 million species. There are 37,000 different species of spider alone. What do you think of that?
It's a lot.
It is, isn't it?
A lot. But if there's loads of stuff out there that we don't know about, and we don't know what it's doing, is it that important? Is it worth finding them now?
Well, yeah.
Why?
Well, it may give us the key to unlock other mysteries.
A spider won't.
Well, it might do.
A spider won't be unlocking any mysteries.
Well, that's totally...
Plants are different. I reckon there's a natural cure for everything out there.
because there's loads of animals that have toxins that are used in medicine.
Yeah, I know that we use dangerous spiders to get rid of headaches or whatever, or they do in the tribes, right?
Yeah.
Do you want to just expand on that point?
It's just that's what they do in tribes. They've got all these tribes, they've got all natural remedies. They go, what's up with you? You got a sore ankle, chew on this twig. And it works. I've seen it. They've sent women out there and, like, they couldn't believe the stuff they can do with twigs and trees and hedgehogs and stuff.
It wasn't an in-depth analysis, was it?
What I'm saying...
Women, they just sent some women out there.
No,
Apparently.
Yeah.
I reckon the stuff that's got venom in it, that's useful. We probably know about all them. Because
it doesn't make any sense. We probably know about all of them.
What I mean is the police know about the gangsters. But they go, right, we're aware of them, let them get on with it. We'll keep our eye on them. And it's the same in the jungle. These spiders, the deadly ones you're aware of. The ones that are just pottering about, you go, don't even worry about them, don't even give them a name. They're not doing anything.
But what if there's another poisonous spider they haven't identified yet, they're lurking in the undergrowth?
I'd be very surprised.
So you'd be very surprised?
I'd be surprised if there was something...
It sounds like laziness on your part.
But they're discovering new species all the time.
We know about all the dangerous stuff now. Because we have to, we live in a world now. We do, we know about a lot of the dangerous stuff. Whenever they find something new now, it's like a new butterfly or...
Well, no, look at AIDS. When I was a kid, no one had ever heard of AIDS.
Yeah, but that's not a natural thing, is it? That's not like a spider or
What do you mean it's not a natural thing?
It's not a natural thing. It's not something that's... AIDS hasn't been, like, living under the soil for millions of years going, I'll wait till the 1980s and I'll come out and kill a load of people.
No, but it is a natural thing.
It's a new thing. It's new.
Yeah, but loads of animals are new, aren't they? Evolutionary terms, there's new animals in evolution.
I'm sure there's new stuff deep down that's just like, almost like bacteria. Sat under the soil, it'll never come to the top. right? It's like having an old woman who's a neighbour. She never goes out, she doesn't bother you. Let her be.
But what if that old neighbour could unlock the secrets to...
I don't think she can.
Just even to us understanding the complexities of the universe, of the way things have developed and grown.
Because we know about it.
Well, why would we know about it? Because I never understand, why is it you want to stop researching and studying now? Why is it that you're happy to just draw a line under everything else? What if people had said this back in the 19th century?
We've done this. I think it's someone in the 1900s. Said everything that's going to be invented has been invented. And then look what happened in that century.
Yeah, and I've said to you, look at the stuff that is being invented now. The frisbee and stuff like that. It's all stuff that like, you kind of go, it's alright, it's a good idea, but we don't need it.
Yeah, but the frisbee wasn't being worked on by the top brains of our generation. That was some novelty toy that some manufacturer made.
Yeah, but it's like, look at the fuss we made over that fella who came up with a Dyson vac. Everyone was like, he's up there with Einstein. Well, he's not. It's a good vac. It cleans up floors well and everything.
Who said he's up there with Einstein?
It's PR people.
In one of those programmes where they did, like, great inventions of our time, it was easy early on. You go, Einstein, you know, Newton did this, Archimedes, Dyson. And they started to run out, because it is harder to come up with something new now. Because everything that's needed, remember, the things we've invented are things that we sort of go, we could do with that. Inventors don't sit there going, what can I make? Oh, I need a toaster. They've sat there, they've burnt the toast under the grill, and they've gone, I need some sort of device here.
Well, somebody, yeah.
And what can it do? I'll shape
Necessity
it like that,
is the mother of invention.
Yeah.
However, there are people who sit around going, where's a loophole in the market? Where's a niche?
Here's something. About a year ago, I came up with a see-through toaster, so that you can see how much the toast is cooked.
Right.
I found it about 2 months after that. Someone had done it.
Right.
So I'd just been beaten to the post.
Yeah, but all you're really doing, Karl, is modifying an existing invention.
What other examples are being pipped at the post, are there? It's got to be one that hasn't been done. Or it's not your theory.
But also something that unlocks a mystery.
Or helps the world.
What's causing problems in the world at the moment that needs sorting?
Oh, cures for things. Faster transport. Anything to do with security, anything to do with well-being. I mean,
obviously environmental concerns are a big issue. People trying to design automobiles that can run on different alternative fuels.
I met a bloke on a conference once who sent a drawing to Blue Peter. It was their design a car of the future, and he sent them a drawing that was a car, and the only innovation was that you can have a shit while driving. And then he put shit goes down pipe, which becomes fuel. They must have looked at that and gone, what a maniac.
I think that's a brilliant... I mean, I've driven a long way. I drove to Cornwall recently, and I would have loved...
But I think he did it when he was about 9, and he must have thought, I'm being driven to school, I need the toilet, wouldn't it be good?
Well, why hasn't that been done?
What?
Well, like Steve says, I've been in the same situation when you're driving and you go, oh, where's the service station? You see a sign saying 36 miles.
So what would
you're in agony.
So you suggest pull your trousers down and shit down in the seat that's a toilet?
Yeah, well, what's wrong with that?
Well, you got your nan in your back.
She's got one as well.
So you are going to Cornwall all shitting?
Well, not all the time, but it's more useful to me than a lighter.
So also,
where do you wash your hands?
Wash your hands or wipe your arse? At what point does that occur?
At the end of the journey.
Oh, God! So, you get in, you have a shit at Deptford, and you wipe your arse at Polperro.
Yeah, but like I've said to you, this isn't like just people going, oh, I think I'll have one. You need one? Not really, but it's something to do, innit? I'm sick of playing I Spy, I'm having a shit. You have it when you really need one. When you have to pull off a motorway, it's a lot of messing about. There's probably going to be a queue at the toilet. No more queues at toilets.
10 minutes, Rick, that takes, doesn't it? 10 minutes to pull off, have a quick shit.
Driving along. It's just going on. It's just going on. Don't even know about it. Radio's on. Everyone's happy. Doesn't matter. I don't know. I mean, we all do it as well. That's the thing.
Anything else you'd come up with? I mean, so far you've come up with nothing. That was a 9-year-old boy's idea.
I mean, the Breville maker wasn't needed.
That's true.
What's a Breville maker?
Like toasted sandwiches. But there's so many things, chocolate fountains, anything like that. I just go, what are these? Who's invented these? Who's okayed this idea? And yet I can't have a shit on the motorway.
Charles Darwin, of course, once said, I cannot persuade myself that a beneficent and omnipotent God would have created parasitic wasps with the express intention of their feeding within the living bodies of caterpillars. His point being that, creatures and their reproductive cycles are so complicated, so intricate, so bizarre, that alone is proof of the non-existence of God. Where do you stand on that?
It's pretty weird. We talked about it ages ago, didn't we, about the wasp that has a thing growing in it and all that.
Lays its egg in a spider.
Yeah, and then the spider goes mad, doesn't it?
You fucking cunt, lay your eggs in me, you fucking stripy wanker. Goes absolutely fucking mad.
It is weird.
I don't know what's going up my arse in a couple of you fucking...
I don't know how it found out that that's what it had to do. That's the amazing thing, isn't it?
Well, it didn't, did it?
It just did it.
No, I know, but when I say found out, I mean it just did it.
Well, it's like mimicry, when they say mimicry, that there's a poisonous snake, and then a snake comes along that looks a bit like it that's not poisonous, but people go, oh, careful, it's poisonous. That snake didn't go, I'm gonna strain, and I'm gonna try and look like Scary over there. Some were born that looked a bit like Scary, and they survived.
Yeah.
It's just being chosen.
But that's changing now, isn't it? The fact that, like, when them frogs came out, that are dangerous, they were just dangerous.
What frogs came out? But
some frogs in the jungle somewhere that were, like, pretty dangerous.
New from Mattel, dangerous frogs in the jungle.
Yeah.
But people didn't know that they were dangerous. And they were going about killing loads of stuff. Anyway.
They weren't going, no, they don't go around killing loads of stuff.
Nature said, this is a bit unfair. Make them orange. So then, the frogs that were orange were dangerous, but you got a warning. It's a bit more fair. Nature said, if they're going to go about being dangerous, make them orange, make them stand out. In a jungle, orange stands out in all the green, right? So people went, there's an orange frog, stay away. Then, over time, nature went, right, what's happened here now? Everyone knows the orange frog's dangerous. Birds aren't eating it because they know it's dangerous. People are avoiding it. They don't even need the poison, it's just the orange it needs. So now you've got a load of frogs that are orange, not even deadly. But people go, is that a deadly orange one, or is it a friendly one? Well, best to leave it.
Again, he's explained my point, but took 30 times as long over.
But also, but listen, let me finish what I was going to say. But what's interesting with all that is, evolution has taught stuff to lie. Because that orange frog isn't deadly, it's going about like it's the big I am.
Yeah.
You could squash it with your hand, you can't do anything. But evolution...
It's swaggering around.
It's made it lie. So lying is part of evolution.
But it's not lying, is it?
What do you mean?
Wow.
It's got no
But the
poison.
interesting thing about, like a toad that secretes a poison is that often it's no good for it as an individual, but it's good for the species as a whole, because someone will come along and chew it. Now, that toad might well die, but that fox is sick, and it doesn't eat another one. So it's sort of saving the species.
Yeah, but at the same time, the dodo tasted rubbish. Everybody said, don't eat one of them again.
We don't know that. We don't know that.
I have read it. I've read that they don't taste very nice. But it didn't
Why
stop
doesn't it taste very nice?
It's just in the same way that chicken's nicer than duck. You can't all have nice tasting flesh. Pork's alright, but I prefer beef.
Point proven, good night.
So, what I'm saying is, with the dodo, it did taste horrible, but everyone wanted to give it a go. Meanwhile, it's different people trying it, so it died out in the end anyway. So your theory of a frog being poisonous and a fox going, yeah, that's horrible, I won't eat another one of them. Then you get another fox trying one, and another fox. They don't all have a word with each other, do they? They go, I had a rotten frog the other night. So it's pointless. It's a pointless exercise.
What I like is your image of nature. This idea that sort of, in your head, there's Mother Nature sat around like a boardroom table, making these decisions. People are coming in, oi, frog, what's been going on? Well, I've been poisoning people. Why? What about you? It's just... You just picture everything as one large
Your confusion is that you still think of evolution has a will. You still believe that things are striving to be something else, as opposed to surviving if they adapt or change. I just want to go through some of the wonderful diversity of nature, some of the incredible feats of the animal kingdom, in a way. Yeah, that's an interesting one. Alligators and old people have something in common. They can hear notes only up to 4,000 vibrations a second.
I don't know what you're meant to do with that information. When's that ever come in handy? When a band's getting together, they don't go, no, we're after crocodiles and old people. What sort of tune do they like? It's pointless.
You're not impressed, okay. Scientists have applied electrodes to the pleasure centre in a rat's brain. The rat pressed a lever 48,000 times over a full day in order to receive that shock that seemed to him pleasurable, choosing the simulator instead of having water or food or sex. So it chose that virtual pleasure, well, not virtual pleasure, it gave it real pleasure, but an artificial stimulus rather than the real thing, like food or water
It
or
never
sex.
ate and had water. It never had a change.
No, it was addicted. It loved this electrode. It was giving it just made it feel good. It was getting as much pleasure from that as the real thing, from sex or food.
Yeah, but with any pleasure, you get sick of it, don't you? If you have too much of it.
Well, it had 48,000 hits in a day.
But I like having a Twix. But if I have more than 4 a week, I've ruined that little pleasure I used to like.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, what did you do the second day?
No,
Did you go
but
near the machine the second day?
No.
There you go then.
No. But what you're saying is this, right? That Twix is failing to give you pleasure on that 5th Twix, but this succeeds every time because it's literally pleasure. It hits the part of the brain that says this is pleasurable.
So,
But
my pleasure nerve, that you're talking about in my head, it lights up when I have a Twix.
I don't think it ever lights up.
Right.
I don't think you've got a pleasure nerve.
But it lights up when I have a Twix.
Right.
It lights up if there's some chicken, right? It lights
Fuck
up if
me.
there's a,
What a miserable cunt he is.
you know, all loads of things.
Chicken and Twix.
That's it.
No.
That's all he lives for.
No.
Hang yourself, mate.
So, what you're saying is, if I had that device that the rat's got,
Yeah.
I'd just sit there, wouldn't I, hitting it, thinking, I can't be bothered going to the shop for a Twix, I'll just hit this button.
Yeah. Think of this. So aggressive is the horned frog of Argentina that people believe that if the frog bites the lip of the horse will die. Actually, the frog's mouth contains no poison. It earned its fearsome reputation because it attacks animals many times its size. What do you think of a frog
It's
attacking
ridiculous.
a horse?
I don't know what's going on. I don't know why that would happen. Why is it getting upset with a horse? Of all the things for a frog to be, like, getting cocky with, them two should never even meet.
Why?
Because it's not, I mean, fights are normally over something, aren't they?
Yeah.
If you have a fight with someone, you're in my yard, or, you
Yeah.
know, you're fighting over something. A horse
I
and a
love the fact
frog.
that he immediately goes back to the 1930s.
Yeah.
You're in my yard.
But a horse and a frog, how did that disagreement
What are they
happen?
squabbling over?
I don't understand what they've got in common. I don't understand it. I bet that's only happened once. It's a rare incident. Someone's to put that in a book. I can't imagine it. That's happening a lot. That horses are being bit by frogs all over the shop.
Cardigans in For What It's Worth. In my opinion, one of the best things I've done for many a year. It's XFM 104.9. Ricky Gervais with me, Steve Merchant, and Karl Pilkington.
I sometimes wish you spoke like that for real, because I wouldn't leave the studio with a headache then. There you are, see, it's just come stinging back.
Oh dear.
A lot of people I meet them in the street, they go, I wish I was Ricky Gervais's mate. No, you don't. Let me put your mind at rest now, you're not missing anything, am I right, Carl?
Who says that walking along the street?
No, people,
With that
they shout
element
it-
said.
They shout it out.
What are you thinking? Oh, just thinking. I wish I was Ricky Gervais's mate.
No, I've met people that are friends of
There we
friends.
go.
or-
He must be fun to be
Yeah,
with.
exactly, he must be a great
in an
laugh.
enclosed space.
Yeah.
In an echoey small space.
Oh, imagine sharing a prison cell with Ricky.
Oh, that'd be good, wouldn't it, Carl? Oh, that would be fantastic. Well, I'd be the daddy, wouldn't I?
I hate it.
The suicide rate in the prison would shoot through the roof.
Yeah. Now come over here and suck mummy's. Now listen.
What
right?
do you reckon, Carl, to being Ricky's friend? Did you find that an exhilarating experience, something that you enjoy and look forward to?
It's alright for about an hour, and then anything over that is when he's just messing about and he wants to hit me on the head with a tray.
We went
or,
for lunch yesterday, didn't we? That was more than an hour, wasn't it?
Yeah,
And we had a drink in the week, didn't we? That was more than an hour, wasn't it?
that was a good.
Is he
play.
okay when it's just the two of you? Because I find as soon as there's a third person,
Well, yeah. Just to give
he
you.
just starts showing off.
Well, there's a little bit of that, right? But I went out with Ricky, like you said, right, for a drink in a week. And, you know, I went home, and Suzanne, my girlfriend, said, where have you been? I said, I've been out for a drink with Ricky. Hey, you've been out for a while, what have you been talking about? I sort of sat there for a minute and thought, there's nothing that I can tell her we've been talking about that she'll show any interest in. She said, well, you must remember something. I said, I can't. She goes, no, something, just anything that you were talking about. What are you talking about? I said, right, the one I remember, one of the topics that came up was, imagine that the only way to have a kid was you had to sleep with a squid. How many kids would you have?
I would say it was the future and the squid's taking over, but the only way they could do it now is like a filter. You had to sleep with the squid. I was going, would you? He's going, what do you mean? I was going, would you? He said, there's not a time he hasn't gone home with a conversation buzzing in his head that he got confused about.
Would anyone want a kid that much?
Does the child look like a squid when you have it, or is it
No,
a
it's
regular
not.
kid?
I was going, no, it's normal, but it's like a filter with a system. The only way you can do it to make sure, you know, you have to impregnate the squid, and it's a filter, and then you can, you know, test tube baby in the future.
Did the busted lads mention that in the song
He did, but he did underwater. That's where I got it
Yeah.
from. I said, well, you probably sort of like get quite friendly with them eventually. You probably would be breeding with the squids and, you know,
So what does
prawns.
Suzanne make of Gervais? Has she met him a few times?
Yeah, she just said, she can understand why we sort of get on, because we both sort of come up with daft stuff all the time, and
Yeah.
but I'm quite happy to have a discussion.
I
about
love the
something.
way that it talks about his partner like the adult.
Well,
like we're
that's
the
how I
two
see
kids
it.
that go out playing,
That's
talking
how-
about squids.
That is exactly how I see Suzanne. It's like, if she wasn't there, I don't think you'd get out of the house in the morning.
Well,
You'd have tied your shoelaces together.
Yeah, you'd have your earplugs
You'd have forgotten
in,
to put your trousers
the
on.
fire alarm would be going off, and, you know, someone would left a frying pan on, the builders would be sort of like throwing you round.
Yeah, I imagine she
And
makes you like a
put
round
me
of
down.
sandwiches.
Well, she's noticed that I don't ask as many questions now. Because, like, last night was one of the first times in ages that I'd asked her something, right?
What did you ask?
Where's the bathroom?
No, right, do you know, like, I'm always thinking stuff when I'm bored, right? if it's when I'm washing up or what have you.
Yeah.
And, last night, she was watching, that Midsummer
Midsummer Murders. yeah.
Midsummer Murders, right? And I don't like it, I think it's rubbish, right? So, I'm sat
Another
there.
thing you've got in common then.
No, but do you know what I mean? But I'll let her watch it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? She really likes
He
it.
was
so-
standing, he's watching the microwave, she was going, Carl, no, this is
exactly.
the telly. This is the telly.
Wait a minute, this chicken's going to come
I've
round
seen
any
this
second.
before, it's been before, it comes round again in a minute. Carl, what's the washing machine, Carl?
So she's watching it, loving it, and that, and I'm bored because it's just it's a boring program. So I'm sort of looking through magazines that we've got,
Trying to find animals without heads.
and it was in one of her magazines, and there's this article right about these identical twins, brothers, right, and one of them meets this girl, right, and it turns out she's got an identical,
I've heard this is true.
Right.
They get married.
She's got an identical sister.
right, so they both go out.
So two identical twins, male, going out with two identical twin
Yeah.
sisters. Yeah.
So I was looking at it going, oh, that's weird, because you see them, like, they're always wearing the same cardigans and that, and that's like...
But then,
That's
no,
all
but
right.
if you're an identical twin, then you probably would fancy the same sort of person, wouldn't you?
But then, I was asking, she was going, it's getting near the, you know, the plot, the murderer. If they had a kid, would they look the same?
Yeah.
Would
Well,
the-
not necessarily, because it depends on what genes are passed over. Even though they've got the same exact sets of genes, that you don't pass on all the genes, do you? It's 50-50, but you don't pass on exactly the same genes in each sperm, let alone with an identical twin.
Yeah, but even though you don't do that, like, my brother and sister don't look like me, but
No.
you know they were related.
Because they share 50% of your
and they
father's
talk
genes.
gobbledygook.
Yeah. No, you share 50% of your father's genes and 50% of your mother's, but not the same 50% on two occasions.
I think you
I've
completely
lost
you
him
lost
already.
it
I've
when you
lost him already.
when you brought in the word genes.
Yeah.
I
yeah,
thought you was thinking
yeah.
what
No,
was on
they
the
wouldn't
trousers for?
necessarily. They wouldn't necessarily. No, they could do by.
Did
sheer
Suzanne
chance.
look at you like Oliver Hardy looks at Stan Laurel when he's just like nailed his hand to a wall or something?
She went, ask Ricky tomorrow.
Yeah, and
and, then,
And then turned up John Nettles.
and then turn it up.
Yeah.
That's boring.
Oh, that is brilliant. I think there's I heard a story once where two sets of Siamese twins married. What if you fancied the one on the left?
Yeah. What if one of them was having an affair behind the other one's back? That'd be difficult to conduct, wouldn't it?
You better show off. He's waking up.
What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing down there? What are you doing down there?
Nothing. There's no one down here.
Well, I think there is because I can see her sister here.
No.
What's she doing? What's she doing?
No, they just-
She's covering for her. What are you covering for him for? He's your husband. Is my wife down there?
I read something about some Siamese twins.
Go on.
And one of them was saying, we get on each other's nerves and that.
The other one was going, we don't.
I didn't know this.
I've never liked you. I've never liked you.
One of them was going, I hate doing the washing up, but I let her do it. And the person doing the interview said, well, why don't you help out? Just dry up and get the job done quicker. And she was like, no, I can't stand it. I prefer just to hang around there and wait for the other girl to do the washing up on her own rather than help and get the job done.
Sure.
Just selfish.
Well, there was one set of Siamese twins. One had a job and the other one didn't.
That's ludicrous.
Yeah. The other one was unemployed. The other one had a job. She had to go to work. She had to get up at 6 o'clock on her day
I'm
off.
supporting you, literally.
Yeah.
Then they get done off the social for sort of...
Yeah, because the other one was signing on.
Are you living together? We're not.